Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to another MLB The Show 19 video. Today I'm going to be talking about the best team you can have for the current event, which is currently Live Series Bats. It allows Legends and Flashbacks for pitchers, Silvers to Common, plus Common Live Series, and Live Series Gold to Common for hitters. So this will be a short, probably like 5-minute video of me just going over how my team's built and what I put into my team to make it effective. If you want me to prove that I do good with this team, this current team that I use, I'm 28-6 with. I've only got 3 entries and I've played 34 games. I went 28-6. I did pretty good. I almost got 2 12-win runs, but sadly I ran into some pretty good players and some unlucky moments too. But yeah, if you're interested in getting this Jorge Posada, this is how I recommend you to build your team. So to start with the rotation, we're going to take out here Whitey Ford, because the team ain't actually built. I'm going to build it right in front of you to let you really see. Now, this is my rotation. It can really be whatever you want, but I would say I do really well with these guys, even though he's a 4.5 ERA. He's come out 3-0. My offense just carries him. But to be fair, in 4 innings, that 4.5 ERA, I'm pretty sure that's 1 run, 2 runs. He's allowed 2 runs. It's nothing. I'm not going to really recommend you for starters, but for relievers, I can recommend you pretty well. Chris Sale, Billy Wagner, Fergie Jenkins is a guy I really recommend you picking up. It's pretty rare for me to walk out with a guy and say, wow, he's actually consistently not allowing runs in, and that's something he does. Eric Gagne, I have him there just to have him there. I don't really use him. Bruce Sutter I've liked. Danny Farquhar is another good pick. This is really what I see in my pen, and this is what I'm probably going to stick with for this event once I keep on playing it again. It's definitely what I recommend going with. They're all pretty solid. If you struggle with Chris Say, you struggle with Billy Wagner, if you struggle with Aroldis Chapman, don't worry. Everyone does. They're there to be there. They'll have their struggling inning, but they'll be dominant through a while. That's just something I've noticed with lefties this year. They'll be great for a while for you, and then they'll just have that inning where they just fall apart. It's only with lefties, and I don't get it, but it happens. For catcher, I use JT Realmuto. I do not use him because he's my only choice, because I could go pick up Gary, but I use him because I do really well with him. 36 at-bats, only 1 strikeout, 14 hits, 4 doubles, a triple, and a home run. He's hitting 389 in 36 at-bats. He's doing pretty good for me, and I definitely recommend using him. His swing is nice. He's got a nice arm. Sure, he's like, on paper, he looks worse than Gary, but I assure you, those hitting stats definitely do better than they show. For sure. He's also got 73 speed. Son of a bitch, pulled Jose Ramirez. Damn, good for him. Alright, so let's move on to first base. First base, we got Anthony Rizzo. Now, this guy I was a bit hesitant at first. I didn't really like him at first. I noticed I wasn't hitting well with him, but then I started using him more and more. And now I'm hitting 344 with him in 61 at-bats. And he's actually getting on base quite often, hitting a good amount of extra base hits too. Having over 10 extra base hits and 21 hits, which is pretty solid. As you notice, I don't strike out these guys much. I'm a patient batter myself, so I do tend to not strike out nearly that much. But I don't walk really either. But Anthony Rizzo, definitely a solid guy. Even against lefties, like those hitting stats aren't that good, but at the end of the day, they actually work out pretty well. I've gotten a lot of hits, actually, against lefties. Batting average against lefties is 438. I actually have a higher batting average against lefties, although I probably haven't had as many bats against lefties. Yeah, I definitely haven't because it's half. But yeah, for sure still hitting great whenever he goes up against lefties. For second base now, I have Ben Zobrist here, and he is an option for me. But I replaced him lately because of Gleyber Torres also having a really good inside edge. When he has that righty inside edge, I cannot deny but to put him on my team, especially when he's hitting this well. He's hitting a bit better average than Ben Zobrist, and he also is hitting more. He's slugging more than Ben Zobrist, so I definitely recommend picking him up. That fielding, sure, it does look bad, but he hasn't made a single error for me. He hasn't made one single error. Now for third base, I can't stress this enough. I cannot stress this enough. If you do not have Josh Donaldson at third base, you need to change that. I'm hitting .474 with him and 154 at-bats. He has 17 doubles and 25 home runs. I've struck out with him 5 times in 154 at-bats. This guy is a beast. He is unstoppable. You need to pick him up. He is insane. I've never hit this well with the card. No other card do I hit as consistently like this card. I hit more consistently with this card than any other. He is so good. His stance, his swing, it's perfect for hitting well. I actually normally have this guy on the bench, Eduardo Escobar, and he pinch hits with Anthony Rizzo for me now. He's hitting .333 and 6 at-bats. He's hit a home run. I haven't had enough at-bats with him, but like in other accounts, I hit great with him. So I definitely recommend picking him up to platoon with this guy. He's a switch hitter. He's not terrible against lefties. You get that nice righty-lefty matchup. He's also best against lefties, and he's also, most of the time, a good inside edge. So he's even good against righties today, which means even when they bring in a righty afterwards, later on, if it lasts longer, he's still good against righties. Just as good against righties as Anthony Rizzo. So he's a solid card, I would say, to pick up. Now let's move on to shortstop. Shortstop is an easy pick for me. Trea Turner, for sure. Decent fielder, good contact, great speed. He's hitting .537 with me in 54 at-bats, 29 hits, 7 doubles, and 2 triples. He doesn't hit home runs, but he gets on base, and people are afraid when he's on base. I have him as my leadoff hitter for a reason. He gets on base most of the time whenever I put him up there at leadoff. Most of the time he gets on base. We look at his batting average, 600 against lefties, 43 against righties. Whenever I get him up there for leadoff, half of the time he does get on base. And he scares the pitcher so much. Makes him so paranoid. And if they're a quick pitcher too, it's a really good situation for you. Now, when they're paranoid and they quick pitch, they tend to miss their spots. A lot of the time, I've had them pitch down the middle to me when quick pitching because they're so afraid and they're quick pitching. He's a very good advantage for you to have speed-wise and to intimidate the pitcher. Now let's move on to left field. Left field, I use Ronald Acuna Jr. Now it's pretty obvious that I use him. He's got pretty low fielding, common fielding. Don't let it scare you. Honestly, that 88 speed also carries him in the outfield too. He's made 0 errors for me this event. I'm batting .440 with him in 75 at-bats, 33 hits, 6 doubles, 2 triples, and 12 home runs. He's been pretty solid for me. Struck out 3 times, not that much really. He's batting very well against both sides. He's doing great for me. I mean, those hitting stats should be enough for you to say, yes, this guy should be in my starting lineup. Another guy who plays in right field for me is actually Marcell Ozuna. He's a pretty solid, he's like very balanced is what I'm going to say about him. Very balanced with hitting, very balanced with fielding. Most of the time he's boosted. He wasn't boosted today, but he's still productive just as much. Batting .429, 42 at-bats, 18 hits, 2 doubles, 4 home runs, 6 extra base hits, and 18 hits. Not that bad. 2 walks, 0 strikeouts. He's doing pretty solid for me. I like him so far. I love his swing. Hasn't made an error for me either. One guy to put on the bench, I would say. He's not my starting lineup right now. Let's just go do that. Chris Davis, a guy I put on my bench, batting .352, 19 hits, 3 doubles, a triple, and 8 home runs. His fielding is terrible. And actually, I just faced him last game, and he made an error that allowed me to win a game. So, there's that. So I would say definitely don't put him in your lineup because he's not going to make it. I would say just don't do that. He's a great bench bat, but that fielding is a liability. 48 fielding is terrible. I would say just like he's got 62 and he's got 70. That's acceptable. 48, it's a bench bat. He's full on bat and that's it. So you got to put him in the bench. Now the guy who plays center is Kevin Kiermaier. You might be thinking, why would you have a guy like this who is such a struggle when it comes to hitting? Why would you put him on? Why would you start him on your team? Look at that fielding. 99 fielding, 84 speed, It's insane. It's unstoppable. Not to mention, I'm batting 400 with him in 50 at-bats. He's hitting just fine for me. So, obviously, I'm going to use him without hesitation. The guy's a beast. He hits that second spot for me. This is actually about how my lineup looks. Now, Nelson Cruz, normally, most of the time, he is a bench bat for me, but he had bad inside edge. So, I was just like, whatever. I actually just went ahead. Let me do this. Let me just build the team and let you see it all. Okay, one more thing I also do. Eric Thames. Bench bat. Bop. Put that boy right there. Another thing I also do, I go to center field. I find a fast dude. I got a nice little pinch runner. I'm pretty sure I already have his name somewhere here. Yes, Miles Straw. He's the guy I like to use. Just put him in for your common catchers. I put 2 common catchers in, but then I take one out for the center fielder to be my pinch runner. These common catchers, I put them in there just because they bring down that overall of your team. They bring it down by a lot, and they just sit in your bench. You also got this guy to pinch hit for you. You got this guy to pinch hit for you. You got your main lefty guy because he's boosted against lefties. And you got your main righty guy because he's boosted against righties. These guys usually fluctuate. Eric Thames doesn't normally go on the bench. It's normally Nelson Cruz and Chris Davis, but he's boosted against righties by 19 today. So I had to put him on the bench. Eduardo Escobar gonna pinch hit or like platoon with Anthony Rizzo. The lineup is also gonna be like this. You're actually gonna have 2 righties hit in a row. Well, this is how my lineup's gonna work. You got Trea Turner, Kevin Kiermaier, Josh Donaldson, Ronald Acuna, Anthony Rizzo, Marcell Ozuna, Gleyber Torres, and JT Realmuto. That is what the lineup looks like. I bat like a beast with this team. Not one player is hitting under 300 in this lineup. Hell, maybe this guy. Okay, I haven't had a bat with him. Fair enough. I haven't had a bat with him either. But yeah, this is what the team looks like. I do great with it. I've had almost 12 win runs every single time. I definitely recommend using this team. You're not forced to though, but you can like take my advice and go like, yeah, okay, I like this part about your team and this part about your team. I'm gonna use that. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Hit thumbs up button if you did enjoy. Subscribe more content like this. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.